Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Ifeoluwa, and in this video I'll be showing you guys how to cut this bustier with yoke. Please do not forget to subscribe, comment, like and share this video. Thank you very much guys. So now let's get into the tutorial. So I have my measurements here. I have my under bust, the bust, waist, armhole, across back, bust point, top length, front waist and the back waist measurements. So we are going to start with the front. I'm going to mark out all my measurements. That is my chest line, which is my armhole divided by 2. That is my bust point, my under bust, and then the front waistline. Then you notice that the front waistline is more than the back waistline. The front waistline is 17, while the back waistline is 14. That is because the front is not flat, the chest is not flat, so it varies for a lot of people. For some it can be front waistline can be 16, while the back waistline can be 14, so it varies. But for this, the front waistline is 17 and the back waistline is 14. You just have to make sure that you accurately get the accurate measurements of wherever you are sewing for. So I'm just trying to link the lines together. That is my chest line, my bust point, my under bust, and my waist line. That is my front waistline, and then this is the center front. So we are going to start, and that's the side front. We are going to start all measurements from the center front towards center front. So this is my across back divided by 2, 14 divided by 2, that is 7. I want to make my armhole now, so I just link that together. Then from there I'll come down by 1 inch because of the shoulder slant. Then whatever I have left I'll divide by 2 and mark it. Then I'm going to go in by 0.75. then I'll measure my bust line, which is the bust divided by 4, and then I'll mark those together. I'll link those together, those points together, to get my armhole. Now after the armhole is done, I'm going to measure my neck. I use 3 inches for the width, and then for the depth I use 3 inches also. So I'll just link that together. You can use any one that suits you. If you want it wider or if you want it deeper, you can just use measurements that suits you. Then we're going to form the shoulder slants here. So the next thing I'm going to do is to mark out my nipple to nipple measurement, which is 7 divided by 2, 3.5. So I'm going to mark that on my chest line and my waistline. So to get my nipple to nipple measurement, I always use the bust measurements divided by 4 minus 1.5 and then divided by 2. That is the way I usually get my nipple to nipple measurement, or you can just measure out the person. Then you go in by 0.5, then you go out by 1.5 here. The same thing under the bust, 0.5 towards center front and 1.5 towards the side front, and then you link those two together. You link those two together. Then towards the bust point, we are going to be using our curve to link that together too. So you do the same thing too. So you just link that together. And then on the shoulder slants, we are going to link towards the bust point. So on the shoulder slant, you're going to look for the midpoint. So I have 2 as the midpoint. Then from there I'm going to link to this bust point. So the next thing you want to do is to get where your yoke is going to stop. to get where and wherever you want it to stop. So you can either use the chest line, you can go below, you can go above it. So it depends on what you want. I'm going to be using 7 inches, that's on the chest line for this tutorial. So that is what I'll be using. Then on the armhole, I'm just going to use 6 inches. You can also use whatever you want for this part. So then you link those two together. Any shape you want, you can make it slant like this, like a V, like V neckline, or you can make it like a canoe neckline, anyone you want. But in this tutorial, I'll be using like a sweetheart neckline. So the next thing you want to do after that is to tighten up that part to avoid gaping. So towards the center front, we are going to be taking ½ inches, while towards the side we are going to be taking 1 inch. So altogether we have 1.5. So you link that back to the bust points. It's just to prevent gaping, to ensure that it is well fitted towards the chest area. So you measure what you have. I have 1.5, and then you extend that that line so that you will replace that 1.5 and replace it there. So you're going to also measure out whatever you have on the chest line and replace it too. So from there you link your new armhole. So whatever you have there, you replace it on the chest line so that the bust measurements will be complete. Then you link it back together. So that is going to be the new armhole when you are cutting out. On the waistline, you measure out your waist measurement divided by 4. I have 6.25. Then you replace whatever you have here, which is 2 inches. Replace it there, and then you link from the chest line to your waistline. So this is what we have. This is the front yoke. Then you're just going to avoid sharp edges. You're just going to blend this back together with your French curve. So you blend it back like that, and this is what you have. The next thing you want to do is to measure out the difference in your front waistline and the back waistline. We have the front waistline as 17 and the back waistline as 14. So the difference is 3. So you measure it on the bust points, and then you link to the bust points. So that's way you have equal sides for the front and the back. So remember I said the front and the back waistline might not be the same because the front is not flat. So when you measure the front and the back, you see that there will be a difference there. That is why we have that for this one. So the next thing we are going to do now is to cut out. We are going to cut out what we have. So we are going to cut out the parts. When you get to the bust point, you're just going to stop right before the bust point a little bit. Then you cut out this side too and stop a little bit before the point. Then we close that part up. Use your masking tape to close it up. And then you link those points from the chest line to the waistline back together. So this is what we have, and then you continue cutting. That's all for this part. You have to replace whatever is lacking. You see, as you notice, as I've closed it up like that, you see that there is a space there. It's no longer equal, so we have to replace it. So you just add more paper, and then you just place them together like that. So use your masking tape to hold them together, and then you fold back. So you just watch the way I'm doing is you fold like that, and you replace whatever it is that has been lost there, because they can never be equal anymore, except you are using a straight neckline. But this one is a sweetheart neckline, so you have to replace whatever is lost there. So you proceed to cut out. So I'm just going to curve that part out because it's looking too sharp. So for the back, I'm bringing out the zip allowance. I used 1 inch for the zip allowance. So I'll just connect that together, and then I'm going to measure out the chest line, which is the armhole divided by 2, 7 inches, and then the back waistline, which is the 14 inches. We're not using 17 anymore, we're using 14. I'm going to mark that out, and then I'll connect them together like that. So we are going to go to the armhole, 7 inches. We are starting from the point of the zip allowance, 7 inches, and then I'll mark out the bust measurement too. So I'm just going to connect together, and then I'll come down by 1 inch. Whatever I have left, I'll divide by 2 and mark. Then here I'm going to go in by 0.5. For the front, I went in by 0.75. Then I'll link those parts together, my bust measurements divided by 4. I'll link everything together. Moving on to the neckline, I'm going to use the same thing I used for the width, that's 3, and I'll use 1 for this. Then I'll just link together. I'll link my shoulder slants together. So the next thing I want to do is to work on the waist. I'm coming in by 1 inch because the back is slightly curved, so I'm just going to link that together. So that is going to be our new zip allowance. So when you want to measure out the waist, you're going to start from these new parts here, this new line here. So for the waist, I'm using 6.25, so I'm going to start from there. I'm adding 1 inch for that, so that's 7.25. Then I'm going to link together from the chest line to the waist line. Then for the dart, I'll be starting from the original line. My dart is still my nipple to nipple, which is 3.5. So I'm starting from the original line for the dart, 3.5. Then I'm also going to do that for the chest line. Then I'm going to go in on both sides by 0.5, that's ½ inch. So I'll just link that together. So for this, if you want, you can also create a yoke for the back. So you use the same 6 inches you use for the front, for the armhole, you use it for the back too, the same 6 inches. Then for the other side, you can use any one you want. You can use 6, you can use 7, you can use any shape you want. So it depends on you if you want a yoke for the back or not. So this is it. That's the back yoke. That is it, all cut out. Now you're going to see what I'm saying concerning the sides. You see that they are going to align, the sides of the front and the sides of the back. They are going to align together. thank you for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. In the part 2, I'll be showing you how to sew it.